So we're live? We're live. Excellent. Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 251 for April 5th, 2018. I am one of your hosts, Brian the Conquistador.
I'm another one, Trevor the Ferlotte.
And I'm Adriel, the hunting gear guy.
Or Frosty. We like Frosty.
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 Yeah.
Frosty the
There
hunting
you
gear.
go.
Frosty, bald guy. The handsome
He never
one.
owns the Frost. No, I think that's Matthew.
Who? I don't know anybody named
You,
Matthew.
Brian.
No, hey now.
He used to do a thing with some guys and a girl.
Did he? Oh, okay, cool. All right. Anyway, so we're going to kick off with what we've done in guns, which is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer, now carrying Smith Elite Eye Protection. And
Ooh.
I don't know anything about Smith Elite Eye
It's
Protection.
fancy.
What do you guys know? Is it fancy?
It's real nice.
Okay, so it's
It
more
protects
than
your eyes.
so. The Elite is not just in the name; the Elite is actually in the product. That's a good
Right.
thing.
It's not like, see, you walk around and act elitist, but you're not. This elite eye protection actually provides elite protection.
And that's why I'm asking, because it's exactly what I do, and I know my own BS. That's it's all okay. So that's why I check these things, because I'm all about that. All right, Trevor, why don't you tell us what you've been up to in guns recently?
Sure. But first, what about Kelly? Should we let the listeners know every week, or just let them be surprised, perhaps pleasantly so, every week?
Why don't we make up a story for her
Okay.
every week?
All right.
She's on a religious pilgrimage
This
to find
week.
herself. I think it's
Yep.
Isn't it in Tibet? One of
7
those
years
Dalai
she
Lama
has.
things. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it
Yes.
was it Tibet, or was it like Arkansas or something? She tried for Tibet but couldn't afford it, so she went to Arkansas instead.
There's a llama there. It's not the same as the Dalai Lama. Just one of those
not
regular
bad.
llamas.
Yeah. my
All right,
youngest.
So Kelly,
Go ahead.
Kelly's riding a llama
In
as she
Arkansas.
in Arkansas to find herself religiously.
Yes.
Okay.
She may or may not be back next week.
Wow. Awesome. She may or may not. Hey, you know what, Trevor? I'm going to suggest that you disconnect and reconnect and see if your connection gets better. And Adriel can get started with what he did in guns. Sorry,
Oh,
but
cool.
you're just chewy tonight.
Yeah. Crunchy
Crunchy.
granola. All right. I went to the Calgary Gun Show. So last Thursday, immediately after the show, I started editing. I got everything edited. I hope I got everything correct, but I didn't have time to check, and I just left. I drove down to Calgary. I got a little bit of freezing rain down there. Stayed overnight, and then immediately in the morning went and lined up for the gun show, which I was meeting a buddy of mine, Dave, down there, and he said, "Okay, you got to show up at 8." I'm like, "Doesn't this thing start at like 9:30?" He's like, "No, you got to show up at 8. Otherwise, there's going to be a huge lineup." I hate lineups, and yeah, it was a good thing we showed up at 8 because we were in the first 50 people, and I think there were about 500 to 1,000 people by the time the gates opened.
Wow.
So it was it was a big lineup. Oh man. And a huge show. They have like 1,000 tables. Yeah, really big. So some highlights. I saw the I Run Guns /RWA /Nodak Spud 180. So that's the 180 that they're making. That's not really a 180, but it's still a 180. So it's still the platform, but I don't think there's any Armalite parts in that thing. Couple of interesting things that they went with on it. They went with a design that lets you swap the bolt handle from one side to the other and the ejection from one side to the other. And if you want to run your bolt handle and ejection on one side, you don't have to have anything open on the left-hand side. So Wolverine's strategy on this was we're going to make one, the bolt handle is going to be reversible, but we're only ejecting on the right. This one, you can eject on either side. They use these plates. So the upper is aluminum, And then they use these steel plates that they screw to the side with all these tiny little screws on both sides to either give you like a solid side or a side with a slot for the bolt handle or a side for the slot with the bolt handle and the ejection port. So pretty configurable in that way.
Kind of steampunkish.
Kind of steampunkish with all the tiny little screws in there. Yeah.
There you go.
Couple of other interesting things. So they, rather than doing like the thread-on barrel nut, they went with like a steel. I don't even know how to call it. These two steel sleeves that like hold on the barrel and are screwed in behind the trunnion. It's not a trunnion. I'm having a really hard time describing this, but go check out the pictures on RWA, or I put a bunch on my Instagram feed as well on the Hunting Gear Guys Instagram. So interesting, anyways. They're still really early on in production with these things, so design might change. They actually had the forend that they put on it was like a 3D printed one. They're like that early in the prototyping stage, so it was pretty interesting from that aspect. Pricing is going to be around $1,700. I think that's US, $1,700 US, and they're going to go in a short forend or a longer forend. So look for more information on that as they start releasing more. And then the other gun that I saw was the FX9. P&D's booth had one of these things, and I really like it. I really, really like it. It's a PCC pistol caliber carbine, 9mm, uses Glock mags. It's got a compact receiver on it. So whereas a lot of the other non-restricted PCCs that we have here in Canada have the magazine pretty far forward, this one's very compact. And it's not like a standard AR size receiver. It's a little bit chopped down, which means that the magazine release is where you would expect the magazine release to be on an AR-15. So this FX9, fantastic magazine release spot on it. Really nice and compact receiver. I really like it. And the price I really like as well. They're coming in at $900.
Oh my God, I need one so bad.
And the controls are fully ambi, right? Because they have an ambi mag release on it.
They have an ambi mag release. I never look if it's full ambi because I'm not wrong-handed.
Hey, because I care. That's why.
Because you're wrong-handed.
Fair enough, but I am the way my parents made me. So,
that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Also, would have accepted nature.
As mistakes of nature, make it sometimes too. But
there you go.
Both his parents and nature.
Yeah, it's probably better not to blame my parents. It's better to blame nature. Yeah, I'm more good with that, and I think they are too.
Awesome. Anyways, FX9. Excellent. Looks fantastic. This is an inexpensive PCC in the US. They're quite a bit more here, but for our market, for a long barrel, non-restricted PCC, so good. I love the forend. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be the one to beat these days.
Are they gonna? Do you know if they're gonna market any restricted versions with a shorter barrel?
Don't know if they're going to do any restricted, but later on we're going to talk about Blackleaf in Edmonton is making one that's going to be restricted length. So I don't know. That's an option. I would prefer non-restricted length. Like for an 18.5-inch barrel, I'll run it. I would rather have a non-restricted PCC. If I'm going to have a restricted PCC, there's some cool ones out there. There's that B&T. There's the Scorpion, and there's a couple of other ones that are really interesting. But this one uses Glock mags, so 10-round mags, and nice and compact. And AR, most of the parts are AR compatible. Nice forend on it, AR style. But cool, so good, so good.
And you touched on it. It uses pistol mags, and that makes a huge difference because we've had some new, really interesting pistol carbines come in, with rifle mags. Oh, great. Fail.
Yeah,
5 rounds.
Not interested.
Yeah, the Evo should have been made for the Canadian market with an 18.5-inch barrel and a CZ75 mag.
Well, I'm really glad that the Americans didn't just stop with like 9mm ARs and just be like, that's it, we're done. Double stack AR mags in 9mm, and that's all we're gonna make. I'm glad that they've been making all this other weird stuff because it's given us opportunity to actually get stuff that's kind of cool for the Canadian market.
Now, Adriel,
yeah,
had this thing. How long do you know how long it's been on the market in the U.S.?
No, I don't know how long it's been on the market.
The reason why I ask is because I'm curious about accuracy reviews and testing. Pistol caliber carbines chambered 9mm aren't exactly tack drivers typically. So I'm wondering, decent ammo, decent optic, what kind of group you can expect at 50 and 100.
Oh, I don't know. Even with that sub 2000 would like ring the steel at 100, like every time you pull the trigger.
Yeah, and on an 8-inch plate.
Yeah, on a large plate. That's all I'm looking for out of a PCC. I'm not looking for, like as long as the group is like that at 100, I'm good to go. Yeah.
Trevor, if you want a rifle, get a rifle.
Fair. You're right, Brian. You're right. A PCC is not a rifle. Don't expect it to perform like a rifle. You're absolutely right.
Better than a pistol, but still
it's
like a rifle.
Yeah, it's a more accurate pistol is really the way it should be looked at in my mind.
That's right. It's a little slower to deploy than a pistol, but it'll be more accurate at 50 and 100 typically than a pistol.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Now, I'd be curious if there's any 9mm rifle bullets, like for 35 caliber rifle bullets that are light enough to be used in a 9mm case.
I think you're looking
like a 90
for
grain
a SIG, like that 357 SIG would be closer to what you're looking for.
357 SIG is still a 9mm bullet, though.
It's fast, though.
Yeah, I don't know if you. I think the lightest 35 cal rifle bullet I've ever seen is like 200 grains. So that's
really?
You're not going to stuff a 200 grain bullet on top of a 9mm case. I don't think.
No.
I think bad things would happen pressure wise.
Yeah,
and I mean, you might as well just go for a 300 blackout.
Yeah, fair.
Well, you could, but I'm just thinking rifle bullets tend to be made to a different standard than pistol bullets. Like,
but now if you want to buy some high end Hornady critical defense 147 grain projectiles, you could get some really,
Well, and that would be interesting to run through these types of platforms to see if a projectile.
You guys are goofy. You guys talking about like printing groups at 100 yards. With
no, I know it's a bit of an it's a bit of an academic exercise, but I mean, I'm
a what?
Academic.
Oh,
for smart people. So
you made up a word.
Yeah, I've done that. Like I had someone ask me about this new barrel I've got, and well, how does it shoot 55 grain? Well, it's really hard to say because I don't know any match grade 55 grain ammo. Like it's all pretty much crap.
You say that when I went from my Spikes tactical 16-inch barrel to the Rainier Arms match barrel, my groups with 55 grain really tightened up.
Okay,
even with crappy, like 2 inches.
Yeah. Okay. So, there you go. I mean, like I know what I can shoot with my 77 grain ammo. But those are premium match bullets. I can't find a 55 grain premium match bullet. Well, I haven't really looked, but
okay. Well, how about this? Hornady makes a 55 grain full metal jacket, still considered plinking. I mean, it's made by Hornady, but that being said, the reason why I bring it up is because I've done comparison tests between Hornady's 55 grain full metal jacket and Campro's. And all things equal, same optics, same rifle, same powder charge, same brass, same casing, same brass rather, and same primer. And the Campro outperformed the Hornady.
Yes. But again, most people are buying 55 grain based on I need to get a lot of ammo for as little money as I can.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a match grade bullet until you start getting into like the 69 and up, right?
Well,
isn't there like a Nosler? Like, doesn't Nosler make a 50?
There are some varmint bullets.
Yeah, some high end,
like a tipped 52 grain. Those might shoot really, really well. Compared. Again, it's kind of all academic. Wow, we went off. Woo. So, Adrian,
Didn't take long at
Calgary
all.
Gun Show. What's what's next on your
I met a
list?
bunch of cool people. I met a bunch
Cool.
of listeners. I met a bunch of people from the CCFR. They were running a booth, and it looked like they kicked some butt over there.
Of course they did. Did anyone buy you a sub?
No one bought me a sub.
What?
No.
You didn't tell them who you were, did you?
I assumed that they would just know, but I guess, yeah.
I
Yeah.
also assumed that they would know.
You know what happened a lot was okay. A lot of people I've interviewed on this show. I've talked to over Facebook. I've emailed back and forth. A lot of people are like, "Hey, Adriel," and I would look around and I would not know who would just talk to me. One of these people just said my name. I have no idea who it is. They know me. I don't know them.
Wicked.
And it's just because, if they said what their name was, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, on Facebook or whatever." But I never met him in real life. It's kind of funny. I met a couple people. I met Daryl, the guy who sent you your Milsurp stuff there, Trevor. He was working a booth, and
Awesome.
let's see
I would have
here.
had him take me around and teach me stuff.
Yeah.
Because the first time I was at that show, one of my complaints was, why didn't they put all the Milsurp stuff over there? Like at the back of the bus, right? It's like good table, Milsurp, a bust of Hitler. What the hell, man? Why don't they make those people be over there? And now I'm like, hey, I kind of want to check this stuff out. Now, I've matured and grown, and now I have a new appreciation for it. I still think segregation is an option, but I'll go to the segregated area.
Well, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because if you're interested in that, I'd like to go to all those tables all at once.
Right. And you wouldn't have to look at all the Black Rifle crap in the
all that
garbage.
I'm kind of of the same opinion. I would have liked for it to be segregated. I think they on purpose are spacing it out because they want you to walk the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I care little about bolt action hunting rifles and pump action shotguns from the 80s and 90s. And that was the majority of the tables were people just selling their stuff, right? Yeah. Someone out there with 20 guns trying to sell some stuff at above market value. And I don't care to look at that stuff. I wanted to see all the new manufactured stuff. I missed Ryan and International Barrels somehow in the 1,000 tables. I didn't find them.
Wow.
I went up and down all the rows. They might have been on a corner or on the end of a row or something like that. And I got done and I left and I was, wait a minute. I didn't see Ryan and I didn't see these people and I didn't see these people, even though I walked the whole damn thing.
Can I call you out for a minute? Because you just talked about people selling hunting guns at above market value. They do what you do, except you do it on the internet. They do it on a table.
Yes.
That's
There's no search function at the Calgary Gun Show, though.
No, there is. You have a search function. It's these right here. Your eyes. You use your eyes to look for stuff. Yeah.
Well,
I know.
Look at how well that worked. I missed the booths I wanted to go to. So
I'm old enough that I used to do that. I was into guns before the internet was as much of a thing with guns. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, there was a lot of people selling those old hunting guns, sporterized Enfields, and just that's not my thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sporterized Enfields shouldn't be anybody's thing.
Well, some guys will buy them and then unsporterize them.
Yeah, you can't if they haven't been butchered.
What have you done to your SKS, Trevor?
None of your business.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. There are pots calling kettles black all over the place here tonight.
I have an unmolested SKS.
Yeah. And then
look at my shirt. Look at my shirt.
It's a very nice shirt.
It's a Matador Arms shirt. That's what I did to my SKS. And that's the only thing you should do to your SKS. Matador Arms or leave it alone.
I can support that.
This is the chassis. This is the chassis that actually made me want to own an SKS just so I could use their chassis.
And then you bought two. And you've been buying red rifles all over the place.
Yeah, and a red pistol.
I really should get one. I still haven't got a chassis. So anyway.
Yeah.
I should talk to Annika. And just
you should.
But call her Anika, please.
Is it Anika? It's
Anika, but she goes by Annika because apparently no one knows how to pronounce Anika.
Oh, I met her.
Oh yeah, you saw her there
in real life.
Isn't she awesome?
Yeah.
Was Nolan there too? Were they doing a booth? What was, or is she just walking
No,
around?
they didn't have a booth. So I thought they were going to have a booth, and I wanted to buy one of their T-shirts with the Cosmoline and the
Oh,
guy
yeah.
like rubbing his
Yeah,
face down.
yeah.
Yeah, I wanted one of those, and they weren't there, and I was like, oh, I'm so disappointed. I
Darn.
wanted one of them shirts.
Was
Yeah.
the Calgary Shooting Center there?
Yes, they were there, and I went to the Calgary Shooting Center as well. So
And said thank you.
Did you run into Yolanda?
I ran into
Yolanda.
Yolanda. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yolanda was at the CCFR booth,
Yeah.
and
Good for her.
Somebody
Yeah.
was nice enough to take a video of her signing their calendar, and she wrote Trevor Sucks on it. I don't even understand why someone wants a calendar with Yolanda writing Trevor Sucks on it. How do you explain that to your friends? So see this smoking hot redhead? She wrote Trevor Sucks on it. Really? That's what you had written on your calendar? Not to my favorite gunny Tommy or something like that. No, you
no.
had her write Trevor Sucks on it. Who is Trevor and why does he suck? And
Look, she's all.
Not
I
important.
want true statements on calendars, and that is one. So
you and Paul Furlock can both take the same short walk off or a long walk off a short pier.
Oh, so good.
It's one of the few
So what
things
was she wearing?
Paul and I agree.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. It's really, wow, that's not creepy.
I saw the pictures. I know what she was wearing
You're on her Instagram all the time.
Oh my.
all the time.
Yeah. So it was cool. I haven't been to that gun show before. It's huge. I didn't end up buying anything, but just meeting a lot of the people in the industry was really cool because that's something I wanted to do.
Did you get any audio?
No, I brought all the stuff, and it was loud, and people were really
Oh, yeah.
busy, and I thought, you know what? I'll get their contact information, and then we'll just do interviews on the show.
Fair.
That would be better. Yeah.
Was Black Box there? Did you see them?
Black Box,
Yeah, Black Box Customs.
Yes, they were there. They were just setting up as I was coming through. I showed up early, so they were setting up all their guns as I was rolling through. But they have some really nice Glocks painted up and some really cool patterns and whatnot. Yeah, trying to think of who else. There was so many out there. Really cool. Let's see. I sold my FNS. And I sold it to Trevor. Trevor, you got to hook up your bank account to mine and just have your paychecks go straight to me. I'll keep the guns coming.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Can we just do like a percentage thing? Does it have to be like the whole thing? I don't need to be on
garnish your wages in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, let's get it out of the way right now. Is there anything else that's coming down the pipe that I'm going to end up with?
Well, I got this.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, you're keeping that.
Yeah,
But I will take that when you're done with it. So let's cross that one off the list. I don't want the XD. I don't want your 1911.
Oh, you don't want the XD?
Nobody wants the XD.
I've got two people who want to buy that 1911.
Do it.
Two.
Well,
one at that price, which I think they're just joking around, and then another one's just like,
that 1911. I'm talking about the other one. Your military
Sam.
one. The Sam. Yeah. Oh, you got to talk about that reply. The troll of the troll. You maybe somebody's you did.
Oh, someone said that they would just take my Nork 1911 at the price that I was quoting, even after they asked. They asked about like what kind of barrel it was on or was in it, and I said this is the finest Chinesium barrel that you can get. And they're like, okay, yeah, I think I'll take it for that price. So I think they're messing with me.
Yeah,
I'm definitely messing with them, and like very clearly. So. So I sold the FNS. I don't really need it since I got that Glock, and the Glocks I'm loving it. It's running great and whatnot. And I bought a CZ. I was waiting for you to correct me there.
There's only one country in the world that pronounces Z.
Shadow 1 with some cool grips on there.
Nice
Grips.
And you, yeah.
It's feels great in the hand. It's a CZ Shadow. They're all the same. They're a heavy gun, and the trigger's fantastic, and they're really nice to shoot. So I might keep it. I might not. I don't know.
It's the most popular gun in IPSC.
Yep.
Oh,
and
yeah.
for damn good reason. Yep.
Yeah.
Great shooting gun, nice and heavy, and yeah. Let's see here. I got my LED panel up to 100%, just one of them. It's
And then I got a sunburn, and I had to turn it down.
It's yeah. And
Hooked it to
Well,
a
and-
rheostat.
what did I have it at last week? 10% or something like that.
Yes,
and now
you're
I've got that. This is 100% now, and it's got some power to it.
So for the listeners, you obviously can't see what he just did, but he turned the sun on in his
Yeah.
room.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is actually sunlight coming through my window, but this is quite a bit brighter. It gets a bit hot. It's just too much power to put through a panel this size. So I'm gonna have to run it at lower voltage. But the picture looks fantastic. Look at how nice and exposed that is. Yeah, but if you're wondering why I'm not putting out very many videos, I'm trying to tweak these and get them to be usable. Once they're usable, then I can start
he's caught 3 guns on fire so far.
He's waiting for the next eclipse in his room.
Yeah, then I can do some shooting. Yeah. But I think that's enough talking from me for now. How about Trevor? Do you want to go next?
Sure. Let me just get the show notes up here.
Oh, I could pull out that Keltec or the. What else do I got in there?
I didn't have them open. What Keltec?
Oh,
Your sub 2000?
I'll wait till next show for that. I've talked enough.
All right.
Well, we're killing time, so do it with a Keltec. Go fill in with a Keltec.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm getting some lag here for some reason.
Yeah, at least your video is good.
All right, I'm ready.
Excellent. Okay, get started. Well,
Okay. What did I do? So I loaded up the last of my 125 grain X metal projectiles. I don't even think they make this one anymore. And the reason why I ended up with so many was when my initial order of X metal products arrived, because I'm a dealer for them. Muffin, using a Bobcat as a forklift, crushed like 4,000 or 5,000 and spilled them all over the box of his half ton. So rather than have them ship me new boxes, I just took those as my sponsorship ammo that year. And now that I've gone through them all, I'm switching to their new. They've got 2 147 grain projectiles, a 147 grain flat nose, which basically simulates the profile of a full metal jacket or a jacketed hollow point projectile. So if you carry jacketed hollow point ammo, which has a flat point on it, this would be, a good bullet for you to load for your practice ammo. You could load it to the same length and have the same profile. That's not what I went with. However, I went with their round nose, because I know that my 1911 Trojan loves round nose stuff at the right length. So I loaded up the last of that 125 grain stuff for Spring Bang. Spring Bang is a annual 2-day indoor event at the Dartmouth AMA range. So Muffin and I will be heading down there tomorrow after work to spend 2 days shooting indoor IPSC. And after I was done loading those, I loaded up some test rounds with 147 grain round nose. I loaded it to the same length as my 125. The ogive appears to be the same, so I should have no feeding issues. But what I don't really know is the powder charge that I'm going to need for that bullet exactly. I went off of a recipe and then dialed it way back because, one, with lead you use less powder. With X metal projectiles, you definitely use less powder because the coating that's on there is very a lot of lubricity, if you will, and there's
Not nearly as hard as a copper jacket.
Yeah, that's right. Like when you pick up a handful of these bullets in your hand, they're just like, it's like trying to hold on to water. It's just they slip and slide all out of your hand and in between your fingers and stuff. The coating is very slick. So yeah, it's not as hard. It's very slick. As a result, there's less friction in the rifling, so you can get the same speed with less gunpowder. So I loaded some up. And when the 19 feet of snow finally leaves my range, I'll get out and chronograph those and then start loading my summer ammo as soon as possible. I also processed some 223 brass. Brian, you don't remember, but you gave me a box of 223 brass a couple of years ago, cardboard box. It was all cleaned. There's a lot of IVI that's annealed, but there's some mixed stuff in there too. There's some American Eagle and some Winchester, and the bulk of it though is IVI 5.56 annealed stuff. So I started to what I'm doing is I lube it, and then I run it through the Dillon on the Dillon resizing die, and then I use the Dillon Super Swager to ream up the primer pocket, and then I was trimming it on the Little Crow World's Finest Trimmer, and then because I have the tools and I can't help myself, this is ridiculous, Brian, don't laugh at me, it's not my fault, I'm not well. I'm uniforming the primer pockets and deburring the flash holes. Because why not? I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I don't do the flash holes, but I uniform the primer pockets.
Okay, cool. Well, I've got the flash hole tool. It takes another half a second, so whatever.
Well, yeah, I have the rotary Hornady, no, Lyman, the 5-stage thing.
Gotcha,
So I just kind of zipped it. Yeah.
Great thing.
What's that, Adriel?
Gray Lyman
Yeah,
little center there. Yeah.
5-station, brass prep center. Yeah.
And my tools are Lyman as well, but they're the hand tools. So
Oh yeah, so you're a lunatic. Yeah, that's
That's right. Yeah. So, but unfortunately, my Little Crow brass trimmer, what it is, it's a body die that you adjust. You throw it on top of the brass, and it sits on the shoulder of the case, and then you drop your end mill cutting bit into the top of the die, and you lock it in place with 2 set screws. But it's worn out. I've trimmed enough 223 brass with it already that the steel end mill is worn out and it's not cutting every case like it's supposed to. So I'm going to get Denis to order me a carbide end mill for it. And that should hopefully last much, much, much longer, if not forever.
How many thousand did you do?
Not many. Really disappointing, actually, Adriel.
I've done well over a few thousand with mine. So if you wore it out with less than 1,000, that's odd.
Factory reject maybe.
I did not do 2,000. There's just no way. So, so last year, the year before, I pulled a whole lot of 223 because the brass was trimmed what I felt too short, and they weren't all trimmed to the same length. So I pulled all that ammo using the RCBS collet puller and pushed out all the primers, and I'm repurposing all that powder and all those primers and all the brass that was trimmed too short. I gave it to Paul Lombard, and I'm starting over with fresh brass, and it's going to load the whole thing over again. Completely unnecessary. I could have just fired all that ammo, plinking practice, even in 3-gun matches, and just left it on the ground for somebody else. But I don't know. I had too much time on my hands. I sold, or am selling, to Paul Lombard the Remington 597 I got from Jeff a few weeks back. And so he was here for 2 nights because he was working in town. So we tore it apart to just check it over. What did we initially pull it apart for? I can't remember. We were installing sling swivel studs because he's getting it set up for maple seed. So he brought his sling over, and it wasn't the sling that he had hoped it would be. I showed him what the maple seed slings look like and what he needs to check for when he's buying his next sling. So when we had the stock removed to install the swivels, I don't know what Jeff was using in this thing. I think it was Cosmoline. I swear to God, it looked like the 22 was lubricated with Cosmoline. Thick, gummy, yellow, grotesque stuff. And so we cleaned all that out, removed the extractor, the spring, the plunger, the whole thing, cleaned everything. And then we removed the guide rods. I showed him how some of the stoppages occur in a 597 by the guide rods being over-tightened rather. If this gun had any reliability issues, it is because it was basically full of Cosmoline. So we essentially degreased it, removed the guide rods, polished them in the you put them in the chuck of the drill press. Take some, actually this time, instead of using polishing compound and a patch, which is what I did with my own, I actually used the same method I used to polish a lot of the parts in Adriel's 1911. I put them in the chuck of the drill, and then I used sandpaper starting at like 600, 800, all the way to 1500 kind of thing. So I made the guide rods like glass basically, and reinstalled them, made sure not to over tighten the set screws. And I actually also polished the surfaces on the bolt face that the guide rods run on. So I keep saying it's a better design than the 1022, where the 1022 only has one guide rod. This has two guide rods, dual recoil springs. There's a built-in rubber buffer at the back of the receiver. With the 1022, you've got to replace that steel pin with a rubber pin to act as a buffer. This all comes, right from the factory with the 597. That being said, though, some of them are still hit and miss. I know Snuffleupagus bought one time, and you couldn't hit anything with it. It was just junk.
Remington.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Some of them are hit and miss. So anyway, now that this one's been cleaned up and tuned up a little bit, hopefully it'll be much more gooder. Not all his mags are dropping free. So rather than, kind of sand the inside of the gun, I was like, sand the mags that don't drop and leave the mags alone that do drop and leave the gun alone.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you crack any parts of it? Did you like
no, nothing. No, it's funny, I tend not to do that. Unlike a certain captain that we know, everything came out unscathed. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, it's almost like you're better at doing this stuff than a certain captain.
Perhaps. But that was a one-off. He's typically better at those things than I am. So credit where credit's due. And then the other thing I did was I don't know if we talked about this on the show or not before, but my AR-15 Kitty Cat built here. So for the listeners who don't know what a Kitty Cat is, DPMS came out with basically a PDW, which is a personal defense weapon, way back, 70s maybe. So what it is, it's an AR-15 with an A2 style carry handle upper, an A2 front sight, 7.5-inch barrel, plain handguard, A2 grip, and just a carbine regular buttstock. So I built this thing up, and the flash hider would not index at all. Crush washer and be darned, there was no lining it up. So typically the threaded portion of an AR barrel, Brian, is how long?
I don't know.
Okay,
as long as it is.
It's that long.
I just shoot them. I don't build
calm
them.
down. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you with that question. I didn't. You're triggered. Go eat a vegan burger and you'll be okay.
Oh, hey now, easy. Hey, vegans are not good in the news right now. They're getting a bad rap. So yeah,
as well they should, because they're not humans as far as I'm concerned.
Whatever.
So anyway, the threaded portion of this barrel was way too long, so we grinded her down. We started off. We were just gonna cut a new crown, and he's like, no, you're gonna be way too long taking material off. It turns out that the $150 barrel wasn't really that good a quality. Real soft. We put it on. I was going at it with a file for a while, like a big bastard file, and I can say that because that's what it's called.
Accurate.
And, anyway, in the end, we put it on the sanding wheel, and then we took he's got a kit for cutting target crowns. So in the end, we put a target crown on, got the flash hider put on there. So really all I had to say was I put a flash hider on my Kitty Cat. Oh man, I need to.
How close are you to having that functioning?
It's done. This is it. We're ready to go. It just needs have bullets and we'll travel. She's ready to go.
So you mentioned that DPMS put those out. That's real close to like what a Colt Commando would have been, right?
Yeah, same idea. Yep. Yeah. Back when special forces were trying to get into short PDW type ARs for special missions and stuff.
Yeah. Commando ops.
So she's ready to go, Brian. I can't wait to get it out to the range. Filthy's excited because he's got the exact opposite end of the spectrum of my PDW. He's got everything is state of the art on his and ambi controls, and he's got that crazy little compact. NEA came out with, and now everybody's copying. Yeah, so
I don't know if NEA was the first one out with that, but anyway.
Oh, my bad. I thought they did that.
Yeah, I think there was some place in the States that had it, but anyway, I could be wrong about that. I'm just speculating.
Whatever. Tomato, like vegans do.
Yeah, it's how we roll. That'll be my new handle, Brian the Vegan. That's awesome.
No, and I bought a gun. So
wow. Okay. All right.
Bought 2 guns from Adriel in 2 weeks. Is that what we did? So I bought a revolver, traded it for a CZ75 Omega B. And then I bought Adriel's FNS 9mm long slide because I sold mine to Muffin and I always regretted it. So now that Adriel's in love with his Glock 54, I knew he didn't need or want that FN. So I've got both my FNs back again, the long and the short. And now this is
Mine's
something
better too.
Yeah, of course it is. Why is yours better? Muffin has my old one. What are you talking about?
No, mine's better because it's got more rounds through it. It'll be smoother.
I don't know. Mine had a lot of rounds. Plus, I polished everything.
Oh, the loading port on mine though, like the magazine loading port, is a little bit chewed up.
Oh no, really? Is it all beat up?
Well, it's got some wear to it.
Okay, but you didn't like Dremel it or anything.
No. Just from use.
All right, cool.
It's worn in, broken in. Yeah, that's it.
Well loved.
But mine had worn tactical Dave Savigny sights on it. Yours has probably just got the standard 3 dots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got to find some more. Dawson makes one for that gun too, so I might just go with a Dawson this time and keep the factory rear sight. Yeah.
Have you shot your Nork 1911 9mm?
Not since finishing it. No. I kept all of your barrel links to see which one's going to make it run because that was the problem with it initially.
Mm-hmm.
So I have it with me. I don't think I'm stupid enough to try it in the match this weekend, but
take it with and try it out.
The match is so busy. It's back-to-back squads for 2 days. I don't think I'll have any time to like.
Just run some rounds off when you're on deck. It's fine. It's fine.
For this stage, I'm shooting this gun. Okay, guys. Not 0, nothing. Might not.
No, just while you're on deck waiting. I'm just gonna.
Oh, that'll work out well.
I'm just gonna function test my gun while you guys tape and patch.
Yeah,
load and make ready. Part of my making ready is I need to see if this will work. Let me ring this steel over there. One second.
This is not Alberta Outlaw 3 gun. We have rules, damn it.
Oh, okay. So maybe. All right. Well, fine if you want to be like that, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm all rulesy.
You are, which is odd because generally you're so cantankerous.
Right, but about some stuff, man, listen. This is it. Strange like that.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm pretty much a rule follower, except when it comes to shooting matches, because that's when I get angry. It's like rules. No, let's just do it this way.
Oh, no,
we're fine. We can do it this way.
Listen, there's principles of never mind.
Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want rules. It's just that I don't care if the rules are approved by people in 3 countries over. I just want to run by rules. It's fine as long as we're all running by the same rules today. We're good.
Right. Okay. But next week when you go to the next club, do you want to be running by the same rules as the weekend before so there's consistency? No,
because I'm capable of reading and comprehending.
I'll read them while driving on the way. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, that's
no.
Oh,
hey now.
Something else I did, and this is thanks to the guys who have to do with Prairie Fire. I withdrew from Prairie Fire because the class is a go. Matthew's flight is booked. We're going. We still don't know what range we're going to be on, but we're going. We might have to do it in the parking lot at the pub. Who knows? But anyway, shortest class in history.
Adriel, is there an RCMP detachment nearby? Because maybe we can just do it. Just do it there. It'll be fine.
Downtown Edmonton. It'll be fine. It'll blend in.
There's already shots being fired down there. Ours will be accurate. So, PractiScore. Now, PractiScore is an amazing app for scoring matches, but it's become so much more than that. We used to keep score on paper in all kinds of different matches. Now there's an app for that. So it's a scoring app. And when matches are done, the scores are calculated instantaneously. The scores are then uploaded to the internet for all to see. The next thing they did was, or one of the other features of PractiScore is now you can actually register for your match online. And then the match director, which I haven't figured this part out yet, can then download all of that match information into their scoring tablets and give them to the squads.
Oh, you guys don't do that?
We just started. I've just learned, thanks to one of the listeners. I went onto the Prairie Fire Facebook page. I'm like, I need a tutorial. And I think it was Brent. He stepped, I don't have my Facebook open in front of me, but he stepped up and he's like, do this, this, and this. And next thing you know, the 3rd annual Ronnie DeGroot Memorial Steel Challenge match is now open for registration on PractiScore. There was a bit of a screw up at first where I had checked off the box where they could pay online. So people were like putting their credit card on PractiScore website to pay for the match. I'm like, dude, I don't know where your credit card went. I don't have your money. So
did you put a credit card field in there?
You can select for people to pay online and ask you for your credit card number. I don't know who processed.
Yeah, that's supposed to connect with. You have to make a Stripe account for that.
Well, exactly, which we didn't do. So anyway, it didn't go anywhere. Nobody's card got billed or anything. But I went back in and on my end of the settings and shut that off. So anyway, that's that's all I got.
Yeah, we the last 3-gun match we did that. We had the registration online first, and then the game day. You download the list of registrants to your master tablet. Yep. You do all your edits on the master tablet, and then once registration is done in the morning, you sync them up, and away you go.
Yeah, that's going to be my plan.
Yeah, the Rimfire Precision Series is using it too. It's pretty slick. You can squad yourself ahead of the match. They send out information via the links on Practice Score. It's pretty slick system, really. I like it.
It's changed the sport. It's made match directors' lives who want to learn how to use it so much easier.
Yeah, it makes everyone's life easier. It's the way of the now. It's not the way of the future. It's the way of now.
Yeah, fair. Like most technologies, it's now.
Yeah, it is now. Okay, cool. My turn finally. Yeah. Okay. I didn't do very much. I got my 1022 zeroed with my Ely Force ammo ahead of the Precision Rimfire match this weekend. I did confirm because the optic I have doesn't have a zero stop. I've had to verify where my zero is relative to the bottom of the scope. So if I get lost, I can find it again. So I did that little bit of trying to save myself from disaster at the match. We'll see how that works. And I still have enough elevation to at least get me to 275 on the dial. So that's a positive, except we got the matchbook and ranges are going to go to maybe 350 this weekend. So I'll have to do some holding we'll see. I also did my drop charts all the way out to 300 and now I have to go and update that too. Cause that'll be important to know. The drop between 300 and 350 will be huge. I'm so used to shooting an AR-15 and 5.56 and what those drops are. 22 is like ridiculous. It's like throwing a pumpkin. Like it's crazy. So yeah, like I've actually done my drop chart to like 10-meter increments because there's that much change in each 10 meters that I don't want to try and guesstimate. So well, anyway, we'll see how it goes. Should be fun. It'll be my second match of the season and probably the last one that's actually going to happen in Ontario. However, we know who's running it. It's Rick from Maple Seed. And last year they were going to do 4 Maple Seeds and they did 25, 30-ish last year. So he's pretty wound up about this. He's pretty excited about it. So there may be an opportunity to shoot it again in the fall. And by then I hope to have a different optic and have an actual sloped rail on it. Right now I just have a flat rail. So that's really limiting my elevation. So I will be picking up a 20 MOA rail at the match. Won't have time to set it up and use it, but at least I'll have it for future. So from now on, my Maple Seed rifle will be set up to shoot some really long distance, and then I'll use that for Maple Seed at 25. So, and that's pretty much all I did in the last week.
I got a couple extra things.
Go ahead, jump on it, Adriel.
This is not a Kel-Tec, but this is a Ruger 7744 and
oh my God,
Magnum.
Nice. So it looks like a bolt action hunting gun.
It is a bolt action hunting gun, but for just like close in.
But it's a gun that nobody asked for. Who in God's name would ever want a 44 Magnum lever action rifle?
A lever.
Bolt action.
Sorry, bolt action. Lever, yes. Bolt action, no. See, lever came to lever. It was a Freudian slip. A genuine Freudian slip.
Lever.
Look, it takes rotary mags. They put 44 Magnum in a rotary.
Why?
Okay, so I think the application for this is you shoot a lot of 44 Magnum, and you're an American and you hunt deer with your 44 Magnum pistol, and you want to shoot them at 100 meters because this will do it.
I get the 44 Magnum Ruger that looks like a 1022.
Yeah,
but that's actually
the Camp Carbine, is that what that one is?
No, Camp Carbine is something else. But
okay,
no, this is mag-fed bolt action. So it's very lightweight, like super lightweight, under 6 pounds, I think.
Oh yeah.
So not a lot to it, not a lot of kick. Very short action on it. So maybe as like a youth or like low recoil, close in hunting rifle, maybe. Because like you can, I was looking at some different load data online with a long barrel on a 44 Magnum. You can get these things up to right around 1800 FPS. So you can get a 240 grain bullet like really zipping. 1800 FPS is not zipping for a rifle.
No.
But no. You can send the slugs out pretty quick. And
like in a lot of ways, the 1700s called and they want the rifle back. But
this time, put it in a bolt rather than a lever.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I've heard that the accuracy isn't very good in these, so that's something that I'm curious about because
well, it's not.
I mean, the lugs on the bolt are towards the middle. They
oh really?
Yeah, they lock up not at the front there, but they lock up kind of closer to the rear here on the receiver. Because you don't need a front locking lug for a 44 Magnum, so they went with less.
Yeah, but why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just go with the better system?
I'm not really sure. I mean, Savage did that on their BMag too. They put the lugs at the back. I'm just not sure why. It must be cheaper.
If you're making mistakes, make all of them.
Oh, that's true. They're being complete. Okay, that's I can almost accept that.
Right.
Now we're for sure going to get Ruger 7744 lovers out there to email in some hate mail. But,
well, you know what? And maybe some people have had some luck with making them shoot decently. I don't know.
Yeah, not sure. And then this people have seen these before. This is a KSG.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that a regular KSG? Is a little something going on in the barrel there? What's going on?
Yeah, a little something. That's a SMT tactical like extension. Lets you get the Remington chokes on there.
Oh, it also allows you to not blow your hand all apart when the cheap Zytel plastic breaks when you pump it.
Gives you a couple of extra inches of little safety room if you go off of off kilter there. But Kel-Tec KSG.
Is that yours?
Borrowed for review. So I'm gonna.
The chokes are really the bigger advantage to anything there. There just should not be shotguns without removable chokes.
Yeah.
Anymore. Yep. Yeah. Because it's now.
Because it's 2018.
Because it's 2018.
It's 2018 and
true.
Chokes are awesome. And we need chokes these days.
Yeah, like cylinder bore. I mean, really, the Mossberg 590A1 comes cylinder bore, or at least did. I don't know if the new ones are choked or not, but one of the first things I did was send that barrel back to Ontario with Jay Hines to Casey at Tactical Ordnance and had it threaded for rim chokes.
Make this useful.
Yeah.
Well, Mossberg right now has a bunch of different versions. They'll have choke tubes in shotguns that have ghost ring sights, but they will not put choke tubes in rifles with beads. I don't understand. Or shotguns with beads. I don't know why.
Ghost ring.
What's that?
Mine came ghost ring.
Yeah, I don't really. I would prefer a bead. That's just
me too.
Well, actually, mine has a ramp front post and a ring in the back.
Why? I hate those crappy iron sights they're putting on shotguns. The crappy little ramp that's super skinny on the back and the front blade. It's like, what's the point?
Slow down.
Just put a bead on the stupid thing.
Yeah.
It's not a rifle.
Just beat it. Beat it, baby. Beat it.
Look.
Am I insulting a shotgun on your wall?
Yes, you are.
Doesn't do that for me.
It's got the blaze orange on the back.
Yeah.
See? It's a dovetail. You can drift it. There's nothing cheap about that front sight setup.
Yeah,
and then on the back you've got the
as slick as they are. Now, one of the things I love the Magpul furniture. It's awesome.
I got it on all three of my pumps.
The sling attachment. Is that
which one?
Reversible? Yeah, is that reversible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, good. Because I
picked
one
left
up.
and right.
I picked one up the other day that was set up like that, and I'm like, wow, this is not lefty friendly at all.
No,
it totally gets in the way.
The cut on the stock on this side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
180.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's interesting because you can't even then use it in your off shoulder, just not comfortably. But I guess really, if you're going to shoot off shoulder, you're not going to do it very often.
And then I got that one up front here.
Yeah.
and I use a 3-point or a single point that goes to 2-point.
A convertible.
The Magpul MS2.
Use a tranny. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't use no.
The Magpul MS2 and MS4s are excellent.
Yeah,
I really like that convertibility of
it
2.2.
It transforms from a single to a 2-point. That's what I meant, Trevor.
But I got you. The early gen MS2s, Adriel, the material was very slick, and I had them come apart on me in training classes. So once you adjust them, tape them.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I remember some of the early Magpul ones were not the most awesome ever.
No, great design, but the material they chose was poor, and it just didn't have enough bite to not come apart on you. Yeah. So.
All right. Cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Kelly is still with her llama in Arkansas, so that's cool. She doesn't have anything to say. So we should go on to upcoming events. Hey, Adriel, do you want to talk about 3-gun stuff at all?
You bet I do. All right.
Okay.
Was that too enthusiastic?
Is it going to be a while? Because I could step away.
Calm down.
No, it won't be a while. I'll just do like the next upcoming ones here. All right, April 7th, Northwest 3-Gun. That'll be at the Smithers Rod and Gun Club. PFI
Smithers.
Canada. Smithers.
Excellent.
Smithers. Yes. PFI Canada will be running the Vancouver Island 3-Gun Nation shoot on April 7th. Chaz will be running a shoot on April 21st, and it is like sold out, waitlist out the yin yang, all on practice score. Mighty
awesome.
Peace 3-Gun April 21st at the Wapiti Shooters Club, and that's probably good for now. That's like 3 weeks out.
So you've got lots of people going to these outdoor matches in April in the longest winter ever, right?
In March when it was cold, and yeah.
I'm like, honestly, if I hadn't already signed up for this match on the weekend with the rimfire stuff, I would not be going, because I'm at the point now I'm bitter about winter, and I don't want. Trevor at least is going to shoot indoors this weekend. He's smart. I'm
Smart SMRT, baby.
I'll probably shoot outdoor on Sunday here, and it's still cold out here.
Brian, I'm doing my first ever black badge in the month of April, the weekend of April 20th. I don't know how that's going to go. It's in New Brunswick in April. Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Outdoors?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Because winter is still here until June.
Yeah.
You've got a serious issue with, like, are you going to have a space cleared to be able to actually find the bottom of the backstop to shoot into, or what?
Well, it's not on my range. It'll be in Woodstock, but still.
The magazines just disappear into the snow. You drop them all gone.
Find them in October.
Yeah. No. Yeah. All right. Cool. Trevor, do you want to talk about the Ronnie DeGroot?
Yes. So as I mentioned, the 3rd annual Ronnie DeGroot Memorial Steel Challenge is now registration is now open on Practice Score. So the date is June 2nd. It'll be at the Rescue Gun Club. We're using USPSA Steel Challenge rules and stages. All 8 of the stages, thanks to X-Metal Targets. We bought a full set of X-Metal Target Steel Challenge targets. Registration is $20. The cost is $20. Registration will take place at 10 o'clock. For more information, you can email us at the Rescuish Gun Club at gmail.com.
Are you taking EMTs for payment up front?
No, man, just give me cash at the door. Screw that noise.
Oh, you should. You're going to have a whole bunch of people register and not show up, and you're going to have to delete them out of your practice score tablet.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's something to be said for asking for a commitment, unless you get into a pain of, I gotta cancel. Can I get my money back?
Yeah,
well, you allow that up until whatever, a week before.
Yeah, and we do that. We do that with SummerSlam, of course, right? SummerSlam, you're not registered until you're paid. The Ronnie DeGroot Steel Challenge is getting bigger every year. There are people that like to shoot action shooting but aren't in IPSC or don't want to join IPSC or whatever, but they really love Steel Challenge because there's not a pile of mag changes. There's not a pile of movement. There's only one stage that involves movement. And frankly, I think Steel Challenge is the easiest and simplest way to get into action shooting with a pistol.
I agree.
This year, we're offering both 22 rifle and 22 pistol, both iron and open. So if you've got a 10-22 with iron sights, you'll be in rimfire rifle iron sights. If you've got a semi-automatic 22 with an optic on it, you'll be in rimfire rifle open, and the same for your pistol. Now, if you're shooting a 22 pistol, a holster is not required. You can carry your pistol from stage to stage in a case, and when it's your turn, you'll come up and open the pistol case up on a barrel, load and make ready, place the pistol on the barrel, and on the beep, pick the pistol up, shoot the targets, reload, put it back down, start all over. You do what's cool about Steel Challenge is there are 5 targets, and you shoot the stage 5 times, and we drop your worst time. So every stage is 25 rounds, and there are 8 stages, so it's 200 rounds, and you should probably bring double if you're new. In the years before, we've added extra things like a plate rack stage, a Texas Star stage. I dropped those this year in favor of going with just the legit 8 sanctioned stages, or official stages, I should say. And when the match itself is done, then we will run 2 man versus man competitions, and that's the dueling tree and the plate rack. So with the plate rack, it's you get a plate rack and I get a plate rack, and then we each have a popper. So on the beep, you have to shoot the 5 plates and the popper, and somewhere along the way perform a mandatory mag change. So most people draw, shoot their plates, do a mag change, and then shoot the popper. And the poppers are set up with tabs welded to them, so we know which popper fell first, so we know who the winner is. And then the plate rack, or the dueling tree, is, well, the first guy to knock all the plates over to the other guy's side wins. So separate awards for those.
Yep, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
I cannot attend this year. I went last year and I had a blast.
Yeah, and even though we're doing all 8 of the stages from Steel Challenge, and we're following Steel Challenge rules, the emphasis of this event is to remember Ronnie. A lot of people are coming who never met Ronnie, didn't know Ronnie, but for those of us at the Rescue Gun Club who knew Ronnie and loved and admired him, this day is a way for us to remember him, because the match takes place on the anniversary of his memorial service. Both him and his wife died tragically in a motorcycle accident. It was a rough weekend. Muffin and I were on our way to teach a black badge class, and we got a call, and on our way to teach the black badge class, and Ronnie had just died, and we got the call, and we actually had to detour around his accident scene, and it was like, ooh. Yeah, okay, I'm done. Move on. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Are we going to talk about the charity shoot? No, we talk about that every week. We're good. Still on.
Concur.
People should come.
Yes. And people should send money, because if you can't make it, you can still donate and help hungry children eat breakfast. So if you'd like to send an EMT, you can do so by sending it to slamfireradio@gmail.com, and you will get all kinds of shout outs and praise for feeding children.
Excellent. Yep, that's positive. All right, cool. Let's jump into the news. We have an item here, not really gun related. Well, it's kind of gun related. It kind of is. I haven't seen exactly every. Have you guys looked into this?
We looked at it a little bit this morning, myself and the lady I work with. I saw Tracy's video, and then Tracy had contacted a gentleman. I don't know his name, but I started watching his video this morning. This is quite a thing. So
okay, but we should tell the listeners what we're talking about, because I didn't yet. I interrupted myself. So This is Bill. Impressive in interrupting myself. Bill C-75 got tabled just before the Easter weekend,
Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, when no one was paying attention, slide it in there.
Everybody's gone for the weekend.
Yes, and it is essentially reducing penalties on criminals. And giving extra love and care to certain people.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. If you're part of a certain group and you commit a crime, we're going to go easy on you. If you are just committing crimes in general, like smuggling guns across the border, we can reduce that penalty. If you choke someone, we can reduce that penalty too, I guess. If you're if you kill a baby, You get less time for that now because we were too hard on baby killers.
Just give them a fine. Just give them a fine. Move them through the system.
Yeah.
A lot of it is moving a lot of crime to rather than a jail penalty to a fine of some kind.
And federal time to provincial time. Like some of the things are just ridiculous. So
there's also some stuff on like having to pay back victims was being reduced because it could put an undue hardship on the criminal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, and jury selection is going to be taken out of the hands of the prosecutor and the defense. So it used to be like, okay, Brian's the prosecutor and I'm the defense attorney, and he and I are going to fight over who we want on the jury until we both feel that this is a jury of the defendant's peers. Well, now that power is being reduced as well. And there's something about that I think people seem to forget. Like the case where Dave Young was on a little while ago, the guy out west who ended up shooting the guy in the face with the Tokarev.
Yeah. Stanley.
So the Stanley case. So the Stanley case received a lot of criticism because there were no First Nations on the jury. He's not First Nations. So if you're going to be judged by a jury of your peers and you're not First Nations, should there be First Nations?
Well,
they want First
Nations. They eliminated a lot of First Nations out of the jury selection process because they said they were going to like string them up.
Of course they did. Yeah, sure. But,
you know,
but like but what people seem to forget is the jury is supposed to be a jury of the defendant's peers, not a jury of the victim's peers. If the defendant was
that's not the right, like we shouldn't be at a point where we base it on the defendant. We should be at a point where we base it on their community, on their area. Like that's the intent. That's the intent.
That's peers. Yeah.
So, but see, the thing was, it wasn't the defense that was picking the jury, and it wasn't the prosecutor that was picking the jury. They each had a chance to veto.
Yes.
They you know, it was a balancing act between those two. So it's to say that jury selection wasn't fair is not correct, because both sides who were involved in the case had an opportunity to be part of the process.
Well, yeah, and what this is going to lead to is juries being selected based on their gender and racial makeup rather than merits.
Okay, here's the thing. Why do people serve on the jury?
Because they can't get out of it.
Yeah, they didn't have a good enough excuse to get out.
Okay, and what happens? So what happens if you don't? If you're selected and you don't go?
Don't you get arrested? You have to go if you're.
What do you mean you have to go? What happens if I don't go, Adriel?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, you do. No, think about it for a second. Everything that the government imposes on us is backed up with the threat of violence. Eventually, they will come to your home and take you away. And if you say, no, I'm not going, they will take you by force if they have to. Even paying your taxes. What happens if you don't pay your taxes? Fine. Then you get hauled into court. If you don't show up to court, they come get you. They arrest you. Everything the government imposes on us is backed up with the threat of violence, right?
Fair enough.
Okay. So don't cry. Don't give me that crap about I'm doing my civic duty. You're not doing your civic duty. You're going to show up for jury duty, because if you don't, they will come take you away eventually. Now, I mean, we're not Cuba and we're not Russia. They don't come for us as quickly as they do in those countries, but eventually they do come for us. And everything the government does is backed up with the threat of violence. You do it, or eventually this is what's going to happen. Why don't they do what the Romans used to do? The Romans invented democracy. Like, everybody who wants to be on a jury should, when it comes time to for the taxation is theft part of our system, where every year we have to pay our taxes. Well, when you file your income tax, you should check off a little box that says, yes, I'd like to be in the jury pool. And then those people are actually going to do a better job because they want to be there. They're not, they're not being forced to do it.
But in all of Canada, you're going to have 6 people say that.
Well, maybe no.
And they're not going to be the people you want on the jury.
No. These are going to be the people who sit home and watch Judge Judy. And
you think the people that are showing up because they're forced are the people we want on the jury?
Some of them, yes.
It depends.
Some of them, no, too.
What's odd? I was tagged for jury duty, and it's all very official, and you have to go. And much like you say, Trevor, there's all kinds of implied threats of force if I don't go. And if I I have to fill in this paperwork and sent it in. And when I got excused, they called me. Yeah, we've solved this. It's not going to court. You don't need to come. No paperwork to say that I don't have to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing that I can ever give to a judge to say, no, I was told I didn't have to come. That's why I didn't show up.
Like, you notice that the government always wants you to jump through hoops in a timely fashion, but they don't do the same for you. If you owe them a penalty, you have to pay it in 30 days. If they underpaid you, they'll pay you when they get around to it.
Yes.
You have to get written documents to get out of jury duty, but when they tell you you're out of jury duty, it's a phone call.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Thanks.
It was a good phone call, to be fair.
But still, could you just call with a phone call? Could you deal with a phone call?
No. Anyway.
Cool.
Wow.
This week in libertarianism, stark libertarianism, brought to you by Trevor Furlong. Taxation is theft.
That was a slow, gentle push on the go button. He just held his finger down. It's like, here we go. All right.
Anyway, Bill C-75 sucks.
Yes,
I haven't
seen.
It's
kind of a slap in the face. So C-71 came out, nothing about crimes or gangs, all about just making it a pain in the butt for us. And then this one comes out and it's like, by the way, we're going to make everything a pain in the butt for you legal gun owners, but for everyone who's breaking the law, less.
I haven't seen
that's it.
I haven't seen the part where it says that you're going to get less of a charge for firearms offenses. That's been a big thing.
And one of them in particular, Brian, is smuggling firearms across the border.
Oh.
Being in possession of prohibited devices.
Oh, see, I didn't.
Penalties on all those. Is this because our jails are too full? Because if you want the jails full, find a better way to improve social programs and education and employment to keep people out of jail in the first place. Don't make their time there shorter. Well, this is another symptom.
Change the laws on some of the moral crimes, right? So, like, do we really need drugs to be illegal? Not really. We lost that war. Do we really need prostitution to be illegal? Not really. We lost that war.
What about
legalize all of it, tax it all, and don't make people don't put people in jail for that stuff. Make money.
What about marrying children? Under the Harper government, they raised the age of consent from 14 to 16, and now, if you marry someone under 16, which I don't know how you would get away with because it's against the law. I don't know who's going to sign the marriage license, but apparently there's still a law in the books about how old someone has to be to get married. So maybe they falsify the documents, let's say, and then after the marriage, we find out that the child bride is 14 and not 16. They're giving you less time in jail for that now. Makes no sense. Why would we up the age of consent from 14 to 16 and then give them less time for marrying and raping children?
I don't know how often this comes up, so I don't know.
What gets me? What gets me is it seems like Bill C-71 is about making gun owners more likely to be a criminal, make it more difficult to be law abiding, and then they're turning around and reducing sentences. So is it that they want to incarcerate people that they don't think will vote for them and unincarcerate people that they do think will vote for them?
Right.
Because there is a certain, shift that the gun owners tend to be on the majority, leaning in a more conservative way, less liberal in a voting sense. Not always, but in that
conservative and libertarian. There's a very firm group of gun owners who are conservative, libertarian, and like there are some liberal gun owners, just not nearly as many. The ratio is way off.
From a math standpoint, they are pretty rare. We know some. We like them. They're fine. We're not saying they don't exist, but it is a bit of a rare bird. Okay, cool. Now that we're all happy and excited about that one, let's talk about Environment Canada.
Do we just want to throw that one right to the main topic?
Okay, yeah, we'll skip that. Okay. We'll go deal with it. You're right. That's a good one. Are we gonna really talk about the lady who went and shot up YouTube? Because
the only reason why I'd want to bring it up is it's kind of getting buried right now.
Bill?
Yes.
I think I see an Adam's apple.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
Okay. Mental health problems.
Big time.
Mental health problems, and everyone can very clearly see it where they don't see it often otherwise. They don't see that, hey, that guy in Florida, mental health problems, The cops were alerted. They didn't do anything. They had the information.
FBI, no less.
And same thing happened here. The dad called the cops and says, "Hey, I'm worried about my daughter. I think she's like made violent threats towards YouTube. You should probably check up on her." And they didn't. They're like, "No, don't see anything wrong here." And she goes and shoots up YouTube.
Oh, they did check up on her? Because
Yes.
I wasn't sure on the timeline. If like they called like on a Thursday and the shooting happened on a Monday and they couldn't find her. Okay, that's good information to know.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the exact timeline in terms of, but they did check up on her. They found her sleeping in a car, and they're like, "No, this seems normal." And
Jeez.
so
Yeah, it's
like
Maybe I've got a theory.
Take guns out of the equation for a second here. Someone is there's a threat that someone is going to bomb YouTube, and it's this person, and the cops are just like, we checked up, and she was just having a nice little nap in her car, and that's like no threat here. They wouldn't like dig into that a little bit deeper. I don't know.
All you had to do was watch her videos to know she was crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
And put her under surveillance or something. She made a threat. Her videos prove that she's local.
You don't need the surveillance. People are volunteering up the information. If they volunteer up the information, you don't do anything about it.
I mean, you're innocent until proven guilty. You can't go lock everybody up because somebody says they could potentially do something.
That's true.
This is where threat assessment training comes in, so you can at least determine what is a credible threat and what isn't, so that you are not ignoring the bad stuff and you are paying attention to the actual threats. Like there's a whole science to determining whether or not a threat is a viable threat, because if somebody says, "I'm going to kill everybody," oh, we better lock them up. That's a lot different from saying, "I'm going to kill Mr. Furlot after third period with my grandfather's shotgun that he keeps in his bedroom on Monday, the 12th."
Yeah. Oh, well, once you get the date, then for sure. Yeah. That's
you got a weapon, you got a time, you got a location, you got a victim. Yeah. Hello. Right?
Yep.
Even if she said, "I'm going to shoot up YouTube," well, YouTube's not a person. YouTube is a place, it's a company, it's a lot of things, but
when the notices come from your family who has like a vested interest in not seeing you in jail, you have to take those like
that is also Adriel. That's critical to determining if a threat is viable or not. Who is making the complaint or the concern?
Yeah. When it's your dad doesn't want you in jail, much less,
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh no, they dropped the ball again. I mean,
yeah.
The FBI can't win. First, they're blowing up Ruby Ridge and Waco, Texas, and the Branch Davidians, and now they're ignoring everything. They go too far one way and then not far enough the other way.
Well, I think they're busy investigating foreign interests messing with elections.
Yeah, and how pure the honey coming out of China is.
Maybe
that's actually a thing. Never mind.
Okay.
Tinfoil hat moment. All right, let's get.
All right. Anyway, luckily, now in the attack, there wasn't anybody killed except the attacker. Is that correct?
Yeah, someone was seriously wounded, but it was moved from critical to serious. So I guess they're.
Who got her?
She did.
Yeah.
She did herself.
Yeah.
And this was all because she was enraged at YouTube for demonetizing her videos.
Yeah, all these gun people. Yeah. All these gun people just moved to Pornhub. They're just like, well, that's too bad. I guess we'll go to the porn website.
Yeah, right. Liberals are violent. We know that. Well, some liberals.
Well, some. I mean, like
some.
This is again an anomaly. Normally, this is you do not see vegan females shooting up places, but really, I guess it's to say that could be anyone, and it's important to watch people around you. Like, I don't know. The States doesn't have anything like Canada where you can call into the RCMP and make a something weird's happening. You got to watch this person, and they'll take it seriously. Because
they do. It's called the FBI, but the FBI has been dropping the ball.
Yeah, not doing anything with it.
Now they also have a population issue because there's 10 times them than us.
Literally.
I don't know what the ratio of police to population is in Canada versus the US. I'm almost guessing we have more police per capita than
not in
US.
this region.
I don't know. I could be,
Hmm.
and I'm really just guessing at that. Maybe I'm sure some listener can write in with that stat because we have smart listeners who know that stuff. Yeah, make that happen. Anyway, and isn't it interesting that vegans often claim that meat is murder, and yet this person was willing to go commit murder, actual murder.
Try to.
Attempted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 69,000 police officers.
Okay. I said a listener, not one of the hosts. But okay, Adriel, dig in. All right, let's get into new gun stuff because we need to bring up the mood a little bit. New gun stuff is cool. So
there are 765,000 sworn personnel in the U.S. It's about the same. That's about 10 times. They have about 10 times their population.
Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah. Right. Great. Thanks. So, new gun stuff. See where I'm going?
Try it. Third time's the charm, Brian.
Blackleaf Industries has released a new gun, the BL9. It's a restricted, so short-barreled PCC. Adriel, can you tell us about this? Because it looks kind of cool.
I can't tell you much. They just put it on Facebook. I'm going to be meeting with these guys at some point and giving their shotgun a little test run. So I will report back with much more information. But it's out. It's restricted. So it's a short barrel, and like much of this stuff out there, it's like kind of like an AR kind of a style.
Yeah. Now, who is Blackleaf Industries? I think I probably should know who they are.
They're Edmonton based. They're pretty new. They've been doing a bunch of Glock stuff.
I know who you are.
Yeah, they know who you are. There's been a lot of shops that are popping up that are doing Glock mods because I think the barrier to entry is a little bit lower. So they do like a double undercut, stipple job, parts and that kind of thing.
That's where I've heard the names.
Kind of thing. Yeah, and they also do a bunch of AR stuff. So I believe they produce their own AR, and this is, they're like, yeah, if we can do an AR, we can do an AR9, right? So.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Who wants to take the Adriel? I'm going to let you take the next one as well.
Yeah. So Nodak RWA is doing a 180 giveaway. It's on Canada Gun Nuts. If you sign up to their newsletter, you might get a chance to win a limited edition Nodak RWA 180B2. So non-restricted rifle.
Cool. Sounds like fun. If there was another way to do it, I would do it, but I just don't spend any time on that particular form.
There's a link to the sign up there. And there's a surprising few number of people that sign up for these kind of contests. So I'd encourage you guys to sign up because someone's going to win it, and there's not that many people that submit for this kind of stuff, right? And it's a $2,000 gun.
It's like one of the lottery companies did a couple of years ago with their marketing campaign. It was quite simple. Two brilliant marketing campaigns that year. Rice Krispies came up with a slogan that said, Rice Krispies, well, what the heck did you think they were made out of? And Lotto 649 slogan was, you can't win if you don't play. So same idea. Like you said, these gun contests, not very many people actually sign up for them. And you'll notice that your chances of winning will increase exponentially if you sign up for them.
It's much like your chances of winning a competition increase by showing up.
True. Yes.
Or your chances of having fun at the competition even go up by showing up.
Your chances of having fun or not having fun are about 50-50.
At a shooting match?
Yeah.
You'll either have fun or you won't. Therefore, it's 50-50.
That's right. And if you win, you'll have fun. If you don't.
I've won very seldom. I've had fun every time. Pretty much.
I guess I'm doing
I shouldn't say that. There's been times but way more than not, because otherwise I wouldn't keep doing it. Like, it's better than 50-50, guys. Come on.
All right.
You guys are
No, I
encouraging listeners. Yeah, come on.
The look on his face.
I don't like you guys as much as I used to. All right. Sure. Let's get into the main topic, which is lead. We like lead. Lead's fun.
Trevor likes lead so much he's got it in his blood.
Yeah,
right. And
100 parts a million. How much?
I was supposed to have my second blood test to determine whether or not it came down on Wednesday, but there was a major snowstorm here, so I rescheduled it. So I was supposed to have it before the last indoor shoot, and it got rescheduled. Then I had an indoor shoot, so I was like, oh, great! Now the results will be skewed, and I was supposed to have it before this indoor shoot, and it got rescheduled again. And I mean, it's a waste now.
Well, I mean, if you do it and you find that your lead is like way up, then I guess the indoor matches are bad for you.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've talked about like blood levels. This is different though, because this is about like Environment Canada pushing for lead-free ammo. You guys saw that article, right?
I did not.
You should. Yeah. I looked at some of it briefly. Anyway, Adriel, go ahead. This seems to be your go button topic today,
Well,
so.
it's my go button. Oh yeah. So the Government of Canada put out an article that's the
Environment
title,
Canada.
Environment Canada, using more lead-free ammunition is the title. It says this ammunition. So we expend 375 million cartridges. This ammunition releases 5,200 tons of lead into the environment annually.
That's metric. That's tones.
Tones, yes. It's not even a weight. It's like the sound it makes when you drop it on this. Yeah, that's the tone that you get. So we actually mine 149,000 tons of lead. So like I'm not sure how this is. It says it's the single most significant source of lead releases onto the land in Canada. I'm pretty sure they're using like some weird exception to how they're measuring this though, because
well, what else releases lead onto the land?
Dumps. Okay, where is all this lead going? It's going into landfills, and it's going into like a lot of it's being recycled, but a lot of it's going into the dump, right?
A lot of it's going to China with our
Yes.
recycled electronics. Yes.
Yeah, we send it to China. Yeah. So that's a little bit funny. And then just more into the article here. They're saying, hey, there's other materials. There's lead-free ammunition available. It's made from copper, zinc alloy, steel, tungsten, or bismuth. It's as effective, or if not better, than lead.
Yeah, okay, it's not. That is a falsehood. Yeah, that is a falsehood. It is not better than lead.
There's a reason why we've continued to use lead almost exclusively for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yep. Yes, and it's not just because that's the way we've always done it. It actually is very effective in making projectiles that do impact on targets.
So how come you aren't using lead-free alternatives for service rifle, Brian? It's more effective.
It's actually not, and it's right now it's hideously expensive. Hideously expensive. You could, I could set up a lathe and mill and lathe out all copper projectiles. I'm sure they'd be great. However, the cost would be ridiculous. So that's a big part of it, and they're still not going to work as well as lead because they're not going to have the same density. You're not going to have the same ballistic coefficient. It's just not.
What if?
Go ahead.
What if they said hunting only? They already got rid of lead for the waterfowl. If you are hunting migratory, and I don't know if this is federal or specific to New Brunswick, but if you're hunting migratory in New Brunswick, steel shot only.
It's
non-toxic all across Canada and North.
All across Canada.
It's
All
North
right.
America. Yeah.
Right. So they already did that to us.
Yep.
So now shotgun shells have to shoot steel shot. What if they said
waterfowl?
this?
Yeah. Or not lead anyway.
What if they said this? If you're in a habitat of wildlife, hunting, no lead. If you're on the range, fine, have at her.
So hunting what? Big game, small game?
Period.
Both? Period.
If you are in an environment of a resort of wildlife,
which if you're hunting, you're in a resort of wildlife.
So if you have a hunting license on you and you're in the woods, or not even a hunting license, if you're in a resort of wildlife, lead ammunition is prohibited.
So one of the vectors they're talking about here is K2. You shoot a big game deer or something like that, and your kids could eat the lead. Yeah, if you're going to eat all like the blood splattered, leady, fragmented goo, yeah, sure.
Which you don't, you cut all that out.
Absolutely, yeah, you cut all that out. And you don't feed your kids that stuff. But the other part is that your gut pile or whatever is scavenged, and then whatever eats that is getting the lead. That's real. Like that.
Yeah,
That is
real.
real.
That animal doesn't die the next day. That animal has some lead in its system. You can have so much lead in your system before it's toxic.
And
Yeah,
I
you're
think
proof of that,
some
Trevor.
of the
Exactly.
they're saying that they're seeing some predatory birds dying from eating too much gut pile lead, which
How much? God, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
No,
It would have to be a
I think
lot.
it's false. Unfortunately, if you want to look at the tonnage of lead that's expended in firearms, target shooters and competition shooters are going to vastly outweigh.
That's right.
Mhm.
Literally outweigh the hunters.
Yep.
The hunters who have even a box of ammo they've got what 10 ounces of lead in their in a rifle, with 20 cartridges. Like,
And they'll shoot
It's nothing.
once per year. They'll
Yeah.
shoot a deer per year.
yeah.
So, like when it comes to hunting big game, if we were to say, okay, like non-toxic only for hunting big game, it would suck. It wouldn't be the worst thing. Like you
Right.
can use
you
a
can-
TSX.
Yeah.
You can use that to hammer your deer, and
Yeah.
the impact is fairly low.
And how long do you think it would be if this was forced upon the industry? Necessity is the mother of all invention. We would start to see an increase in projectile technology and better projectiles. I mean, look at handgun ammunition. Right now, the argument of 9 versus 40 versus 45 is a moot point because we know it's all about the wound channel, and the wound channel is produced by a quality projectile. And the quality of projectiles that people carry now compared to even 20 years ago is just incredible, the difference.
Yeah.
So if hunters were if the industry was forced to adopt non-toxic ammunition for hunting, we would see the industry then force themselves to produce better quality non-toxic hunting ammunition with much better quality projectiles that made better wound channels.
Well, I mean, the ones that are available today are good. Like for big game, TSX projectiles are pretty good. They do the job. The expansion's good as long as you push them really quick. They are not good at low velocity. So like your regular cartridges or like your low pressure, like you wouldn't want to use it like your 30-30.
No, I was just going to say
There
that
might not
same.
be an option
Well,
for that.
be careful because I was using TSXs in my deer rifle, but they had TSXs designed for the 300 blackout. They were designed to work with a lower velocity, so they have the ability to tailor the cartridge how much it opens at a given velocity.
So, Brian, why were you using them on purpose?
Because it was about the only bullet that was designed to work with 300 blackout velocities.
So you couldn't find like a ballistic tip 30 cal bullet for the 300 blackout?
Not suitable for deer sized game.
Holy crap. TSX makes 30-30 bullets.
There you go.
Yeah.
They have
it's
a
available.
follow point so that they'll open up.
And
Because those are poking along, but
and honestly, we're kind of making the argument for the lead banners.
well, like on
Well, I'm looking at worst case scenario. I'm like,
Yeah.
what if we have to make a concession, then if they only force it on hunters, you could get by. Because you're not
the
buying.
cost would go up, but
Right,
not
the cost would go up, but the cost would come down eventually because of supply and demand. Eventually, the
Yes.
cost would come down.
And that is one of the things in the article.
The
never
technology.
the same. You'd never get down to a $25 box of ammo.
No.
The material cost is more. The machining
Right.
cost is more. There's not a way to make them as cheap as lead. So you'd have to accept that your box of ammo is now instead of 25 is $30 or $40.
Right.
But still, like if you're hunting big game, that's not a huge deal.
Well, but remember, guys, we also have a lot of hunters who refuse to even sight in their gun or shoot more than one round to check their sight in because it costs a lot of money.
And I don't
still
want
using-
but I don't want those people.
Well,
They can
no,
go
I
to
understand.
their hobby.
Yeah. No, well, we got to be careful because we can't just throw certain parts of our sport under the bus.
Just
I'm not-
because we don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Agree with
no. Anyway,
Now, we get
Now, what about small game? You gonna buy copper bullets for shooting gophers?
well, shoot gophers. Yeah, we'll have to. These.
Oh, what's gonna happen with your 22? How are you gonna do?
Well, you could shoot 17 HMR with a copper bullet. So go for the fine.
Ugh.
But it's going to cost more. You're right. It's going to cost more.
It's going to cost
A
more.
heck of a lot more. Like
What about
Hmm.
what about the military? What about law
Well,
enforcement?
see, this is
Well,
all
military is looking at centered for practice.
yeah, but this whole thing is targeting non-military use
Of
of
course.
ammunition because they know that the army's just going to say, yeah, whatever. This is
Yeah.
all nice. We're going to use the most effective
Yeah.
ammunition we can get
For
less
military
money.
practice, but they may use centered on their ranges because it's less lead in the air or whatever, right? Like they might look at that.
They may because they do the military ranges around here really they count how many rounds get used in the berms because they need to take the lead out and they're kind of pretty anal about it.
Well, I'm not sure what the environmental impact surveys they do for ranges is like, and whether they're like, I mean, all this lead's coming out of the ground anyway. So if we're putting it back into the ground and it stays in one spot in an outdoor range or an indoor range, are we contaminating anything?
Well,
There was, did you guys hear about that letter that went to gun clubs across Canada recently about the lead on their ranges? And it didn't seem to come from any kind of anybody in a position of authority, let's say. It wasn't like from the CFO, it wasn't from the government. So a lot of people just disregarded it. But it was something about a lead study or contamination on your ranges. Does that ring any bells?
No.
No? Okay. I wonder if this is part of that.
It would be nice to know if like that's an issue or not. I mean, that seems like something where it's like, oh, it isn't an issue, or yes, it is an issue, and here's the things you can do to mitigate it.
You mean lead on a range?
Yes.
Well, ranges aren't public property. If you don't want to be exposed to what's there, don't join. Stay away.
So if, like an example would be, and I don't even know if there's a thing, lead leaching into the water supply. Probably not a thing.
It could be. I mean,
I don't
there's
know.
there's water running near my range.
So is that an issue? And if it is, it's like, oh, it's an issue. Here's how you mitigate it. You build a berm like this, and boom, you're done, right?
Well, no, see that doesn't work because the lead gets into the berm and then water washes down through the berm when it rains, and it's going to potentially carry that particulate matter with it as it goes. I don't know. I know that it's showing up in new stormwater management guidelines here in Ontario. They're talking about firing. It actually showed up in the new draft document that I read. It's a thing now. Whether it's really a thing or if it's an agenda thing that is being slipped in, I don't know.
Here's a good question. One of the viewers is talking about muzzle loaders, whether they be pistols or even rifles. What option do they have? Muzzle loading hunting is big. Recreational shooting with muzzle loaders, recreationists with muzzle loaders. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a whole group of firearms enthusiasts. What the heck are they supposed to use?
Well, I think for hunting, there's no reason why they can't use copper bullets. But for reenactors using
you can't
round ball,
you need like if you're going to use a rifled muzzle loader, you need something that'll like expand, right? Because you're pushing it down the barrel.
They have
those sabos that
they use.
You could use a sabo.
Yeah. Now,
what about a cap and ball revolver?
Well, you're out of luck.
Yeah, rubber bullets.
Yeah, I don't know. And if you get into like let's look at the handgun sports that we all participate in. I guess the bullets could be sintered, frangible, and that would work fine.
I mean, there are some indoor ranges that require 100% green ammunition. There's nothing nasty in the primer, and there's no lead in the projectile. But that stuff is stupid expensive.
Yeah, and what the report says is that as the requirement increases, there'll be higher volume, thus the unit cost will go down.
Unless everybody drops out of the sport.
Yeah. Wow. Everyone will drop out of the sport. Like your handgun ammo is going to go from 10 cents a bullet, which is like a TMJ or something like that, or even what's X Metal's coated bullets go for these days? 8-9 cents.
$98 for 1,000.
Yeah, like right around 10 cents, right? So 10 cents a bullet.
Or is it less than that?
And the sintered stuff is what, $50 a buck?
Yeah, crazy.
It's not cheap.
I mean, again, though, I don't want to throw the hunters under the bus and say, take their ammo. If it only applied to hunters, then us handgun shooters would just cast our own. If we couldn't buy lead ammo, we would scrounge lead wherever we could, and casting would just go through the roof. Everybody get into casting.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the article does
You can't throw just the hunters under the bus.
No,
because
that's what I'm saying. But
there are articles after everyone.
Yeah, and the article does specifically mention firearms ranges because that is a relatively high concentration of lead from firearms projectiles.
but it's isolated to there.
Yes, but again, if it is then causing things to leach into the ground beneath the range and then be carried along with groundwater, who knows
Right,
where it
so-
can end up? It's
so
the same as you can't do an oil change by dumping it in the parking lot.
Well,
But gas
well,
stations are like a known, like you can't, like reclaiming a gas station
Right, you
location
can't do
is
it.
really difficult because they know it's like, yeah, we zoned it as a gas station. We know that soil is effed. It's full of oil. It's full of gasoline. It's not great soil anymore.
But it
Yeah,
can be
there-
remediated.
Well, nobody wants to pay to do it, though. There was an Irving that closed down in the community I was living in before I moved here, and that will remain an empty lot for 100 years.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Small game. Ugh. What fun is it shooting gophers when your rounds are like $1.50, $2 a pop?
It's not going to happen.
Well, yeah,
I'll
unfortunately,
start doing it with a bow.
This is if you want to be a conspiracist about it, this is a great way for the anti-crowd to really curtail the amount of interest in shooting
if we can't-
sports.
If we can't take their guns, we'll take their bullets.
Yeah. And make
Well,
it
remember what Chris
super
Rock said?
expensive.
You don't need gun control. You need bullet control. Bullets cost $5,000. He shot that man 3 times. He does have done something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I see this as just the way that the article is one-sided and parroting stuff that's not fact. That's saying like, oh yeah, for people who are shooting or hunters or sport shooters, the ammunition is minimal. The cost there,
Oh
it's
God,
like,
yeah, that part was laughable.
like if you're hunting, if you're going out to shoot a ram and you're spending thousands of dollars on guiding fees, yeah, the difference between a $20 box of ammo and a $40 is like, man, who cares?
Yeah,
If you're shooting
you got
thousands of
$2,000
rounds a year, sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
I was just saying, along with what you're saying, your binoculars cost $2,000. I mean,
But-
so
people get hung up on stuff. I know guys who, I've got
everybody has a
this
breaking
really
point.
fancy $2,000, $3,000 gun. But it doesn't shoot 55 grain worth of damn, so it's no good to me. Well, okay, use real ammo in it. Come on.
So for waterfowl, steel shot sucks. Like it's pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
Your bismuth is quite a bit better, but the cost on it is incredibly high. Now, for hunting
is the
big
best, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, for hunting big game, you can use a premium bullet like an AccuBond, and that'll cost you X amount of dollars. You can use a TSX. It's not that much more. The actual difference in performance and lethality and that kind of thing on non-toxic versus lead-based on bullets for big game, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So
Now,
yeah,
we get into the long range target sports. You're not going to be able to make a copper projectile that competes with a lead projectile in 308 or 6 mil or 6.5. It's just not going to happen.
no.
It's going to get blown all over the place. However, people could say, fine, you don't need to do that. That's ultimately,
Or
it's
that
very
should-
hard for us to justify why we should be able to put lead in the environment.
Why do we have to justify lawful activities? We don't.
But
In a free and democratic
Well, you do-
society,
oh, wait a minute. This isn't about this isn't about legal or not, because they could say the law is now you can't put lead in the environment, so we're no longer legal to do it.
And it's an environmental thing, not a gun grabbing thing.
Yeah.
next you're going to tell me global warming is real.
Well, again, I get back to 5,200 metric tons of lead imported. Is that a big deal in Canada? I don't think that doesn't really strike me as a big number.
Not when we're mining 150,000 tons of it. That's what we're mining. Never mind like importing or anything else. That's what we're having to pull out of the ground. We recycle the stuff. We did that's another big number, but we also might like dig up 150,000 tons of it. So it's going somewhere. It can't all go to China and get pollute their area over there. Some of it's got to be in dumps and landfills around here.
You know, we're two of the biggest users of lead is the lead smelter in Beldoon. Their two largest customers are AC Delco and Kodak. Yep. Now, Kodak maybe not so much anymore. Along with lead comes silver. So there's a lot of silver that comes out of that lead mine. And Kodak buys all the silver because they use the silver in their film. And AC Delco uses the lead.
They use the silver in their who? In the
what? Kodak still even in business?
Well, that's it. Yeah. So I don't even know.
I don't think they are. Yeah.
If anyone is using film for anything anymore, but
yeah,
I think maybe the movie industry. That would be about it.
Maybe.
So one other thing. Okay, so in 3-gun we shoot steel very close up with lead, and therefore it's fine. You can't shoot steel at steel.
No, but you could shoot sintered. You can shoot frangible.
Yeah.
Can you shoot frangible shotgun shells? Is that a thing? Do they have frangible
slugs? Could you make us?
You could make slugs. Yeah, that's not. You can't shoot that. Like, okay, so what about sporting clays?
Yeah, see, those shooting sports get gone because the volume of shells that you go through.
It's an Olympic sport. Good luck. That's the crowd you want to piss off.
So was wrestling. The Olympics aren't sacred. They pulled wrestling out of the Olympics. They don't care about sports shooting.
What? When?
It's
like one of the oldest.
No, I don't think they pulled wrestling in it. Did they? No, we would know about that because our friend Tom would tell us all about that. Yeah, I don't think wrestling's out of the Olympics. I think that's fake news.
He's looking it up.
Wrestling reinstated for 2020 games.
Reinstated.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the original Olympic sports. They used to do that stuff naked.
You guys think that like clay shooting is sacred? Like they took wrestling out of the Olympics. They'll be fine with taking clay shooting out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the stepchild that they don't like. They don't like the shooting sports in the Olympics at all.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't look good. I don't know how we come up with a rational way to fight this one.
Well, it'd be nice.
I'm not saying there isn't one.
I said a concrete goal. If the concrete goal was like, hey, there's too many animals that are eating your damn gut piles. We need to do something about it. Fine. Hunters
we'll pick up our gut piles.
Yeah. Hunters would start picking up their gut piles and burying them. Or we'd start using more copper ammo. I mean, it's not that much more expensive, and we can do that. That would be acceptable if that's the message. But the message in this article is more everything: shooting sports, hunting.
And again, they're talking about lead getting released in the environment and what's the environmental impact. Now, I don't know what the impact is. Well, again, dealing with the military ranges, they go in every so often and pull the backstops out or pull the face off to get all the lead out of it. And they reclaim the lead and, in theory, recycle it.
I make a little bit of money, or at least pay for the cost of doing that with the material, right?
Yeah. Guys, we've been hunting for hundreds of years. We're hunting less now than ever before. If this was an issue, like it would have cropped up in the 60s or 70s.
Oh yeah, no. It's a bunch of hooey.
It is hooey.
Well, the waterfowl was the same, right? Like we were. It was doing some damage to waterfowl. There's that many lead pellets at the bottom of lakes and that kind of thing, and everything. Like all the ducks are using it as roughage. So I mean, there's like maybe there's something, but it'd be nice to say like, hey, there's a significant amount of this kind of animal, and here's what we can do to stop it, and let's try to do some of those things, right?
I'd like to see the studies about the waterfowl. What was happening?
There's little. They need roughage, and they're picking them up off the bottom of lakes, and then putting them in their gizzard.
Right, and then what?
They get slowly lead poisoned over years and years and years.
Were they? How long is the lifespan of a duck?
I don't know.
Slightly shorter if they ingest lead. I don't know. I don't know if it was ever justified, but it was kind of like, well, it might be true, so we better to be safe than sorry. And
I don't know. I think all three of us haven't looked at any of the studies on this. So
Correct.
yeah, well, yeah, it's not a good thing. Anyway, okay, let's have we finished flaying this particular dead horse for this week.
Yeah, sure.
We're good.
So,
All right.
summary, if we had to hunt big game with lead, no big deal. Everything else, totally a pain in the butt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Thanks. Trevor, is that you ringing?
No, that's my house.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You might want to get that checked. Houses aren't supposed to ring.
No, that's odd. Yeah. All right. Listener feedback. I'll take the first one. From James B. La Première Étoile. Thanks, Brian. The girls are really excited about your $100 donation. Apparently, my mode wrote a check that I now have to write a check for.
What?
It had something to do with getting them raising money so that you would sing.
They would. You donated $100 to them so that I would sing.
I didn't.
You didn't. Okay, good.
But he's called me out on it, so now I have to.
No, they're supposed to go out and raise the money themselves. They're not supposed to get the money. You're a bastard. That's not how this works.
It's costing me $100.
You want to pay $100 to hear me sing?
No, I want to pay $100 so I don't have to hear you sing. Actually, that's fine. I'll just take my headphones off. I don't have to hear you. It's awesome. All right, so let's carry on. Well, Kanakistan is finally melting. Evidence is to the contrary. And Bill C71 on the horizon. I wish to tell people from my cold, dead hands.
Very cold.
Well, yeah. My hands are cold. They're not dead yet, but they're cold. Well, the way I say it so much better than the way you were reading this. I think I'm going to use a true actor for the part. Maybe I can get Charlton Heston to do it. Signed to Canada Derp. Okay.
Canada Derp.
Canada. Yes, Canada Derp. Whoo. Okay. Trevor, can you take the next one?
No. I'm waiting for Wesley's.
Okay, fine. Adriel.
Right. I gotta get my beep button ready for the next one. From Anthony. Hey guys, I've been enjoying your show for quite some time now, but it was great to finally meet one of the hosts in person. I got to meet Kelly in person at TopCom a little while back, and even got to rope her in to help me out with some of the ladies' events that I'm working on at our local club. I got to say that Brian has been an excellent addition to the show in Matthew's absence. I hope you don't kick him to the curb when Matthew gets back full time.
It's been discussed. He's gone.
No,
this email address. I've never seen this email emailed in to us. I think it's like one of Brian's alt email addresses.
No.
Let's see. He goes on. 5 hosts isn't too many, in my opinion. I have a suggestion for next year's TACCOM show. Slamfire booth with live coverage of the event. Keep up the great work. Regards, Anthony.
So he wants us to podcast for 16 straight hours? No.
I mean, you could do it if it was live and like there was no expectations as to quality. I'm not sure who would want to watch such a live stream.
No.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for jobs and families and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, which is important to have.
You guys work on the weekend?
Well,
no, but my family likes me to be around.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I don't have a family.
Well, Steve likes you.
If she's not around, he does. Oh. We're both sitting on the couch, and they're both on top of her. Like I'm like I've got the flag. I only exist when she's not around.
Well, maybe they've looked at you and they're concerned that you're going to eat them.
Possibly.
That's what's going on. Okay, Trevor, do you want to take this one from Wesley, please?
Okay, I'm going to preface this because if I just read it, it's going to seem a little out of place and need some context. So maybe the listeners remember last week or the week before, we were talking about Adriel's results at the 3-gun match. And Adriel was impressed that he had finally... Was it the first time he beat Wesley?
I've only shot with him at Saskatoon, and he thoroughly whomped me at that.
Okay, so Adriel beat Wesley Stevens for the first time. Wesley's been a long time listener of the show, and so I commented how Adriel beat Wesley, yet when Wesley posted the photo, like a screenshot taken of PractiScore of his results kind of cropped out the guy above him. That was Adriel, and I thought it was kind of a little greasy, you know. So anyway, we get this from Wesley, and he's so to the listeners.
I got the beep button on this one, Trevor. You go for it.
All right, but I just want to apologize ahead of time to the listeners who are listening live. He says, "Fuck you guys." I try to put social media. And you guys just flame me. I don't know what that means. I try to put social media, and you guys flame me. He must be taking grammar lessons from Ginger Snaps.
Yes, I would say.
He says, I didn't cut off the #1 spot on purpose. Instacrops the photo into a square. I didn't change it because hashtag furlough achieving. Wesley. And furlough achieving, of course, is overachieving and underachieving. So he's blaming the Instagram, I think, for cropping his photo, and he decided not to change it.
Instagram is a pain in the butt. I hate how it crops. So I always want to take like a wide aspect photo of a gun, and it wants square the whole time, and it's always like not great for guns.
Nope, it's not. I'm noticing that as well. It kind of sucks. So
see, Instagram is going to go away, and I will go from being behind the curve to ahead of the curve by having never used Instagram. So it's
where are you putting your gun pics, like on Bumble or
Bumble?
No, not
so
much. Not so much Bumble.
Pornhub? Are you already on Pornhub putting pictures of guns?
He's on Pornhub, but
I'm not producing content. That's all I'm going to say about Pornhub.
Well, I am.
Oh, great.
But I don't see any channels closing or videos disappearing on YouTube. Is this actually going to be a thing or what?
I heard they were like a lot of times when you introduce something new, you put it out there and say, "Don't worry, guys, it's just for people who are selling guns," and then everyone who's selling and promoting starts to see their channel get strikes. So they put the shot across the bow, and now it's enforcement time. So it'll take a while, but they'll start enforcing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's not good.
We're going over
anyway, for the listeners, if you would like to send the show an email, please do so at slamfireradio@gmail.com, and we'll read it the way we get it, because that's what we do. Editing takes effort. Shout outs.
That's funny. Mine goes to Paul Lombard, who was here for the last couple of days, and to all the other Atlantic FOs in our chat who listen and watch the show. Keep up the good work, boys.
All right, mine's to Daryl and all the people really that I met at the Calgary Gun Show. Thanks for coming up and saying hi, even if I didn't know who you were. It was really nice talking to everyone, and yeah, really cool. A lot of Slamfire listeners, and I'm starting to feel that like closeness of the gun community starting to close in, because a lot of people that I know and a lot of people that know me. It was really cool.
But he would appreciate sandwiches.
Yeah, more Subway sandwiches next time.
Yeah. Does it have to be Subway, or are you picky?
You know what? I went to Five Guys afterwards, and that was delicious. So
Five Guys.
Yeah.
I had Five Guys have
that than Subway.
Five Guys meat is the best, Brian. When you got Five Guys meat in your mouth, you have arrived.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, and they have the free nuts too.
They do. They do. I forgot.
You guys rehearsed this.
It was Ross and Jeff, who Rossinator and Jeff, who first fed me Five Guys.
They introduced you to the Five Guys.
They did. They did bring me to the Five Guys for the first time. And man, when their meat hit my mouth, that's amazing.
Awesome. Okay. I don't have any shout outs. Patreon supporters. We have a new one this week. Brant H. Thank you very much. Oh, Jonathan Howe and Sean H. That's great. We really appreciate the support. Or the regulars on the show appreciate the support. I'm just the temp. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other.
1242. 1242. What's the 12 gauge 42? I'm trying to figure out the significance of.
Maybe he included the tax on something.
Or maybe it's 12 gauge is the answer to everything, because 42.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the answer to the universe and everything.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope I nailed that. That makes me the smartest person ever.
Or autistic.
Wow, if you're the smartest
Really
person
good with
ever, we're in
numbers.
a lot of trouble as a speaker.
I could be the top autist on the show. That's possible.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Patreon supporters, you should have received your patches in the mail. Adriel, is that true? Have you
We
sent
got an
out all the
email from
patches?
somebody. Oh, Ian Jones is saying, "Where's my patches?"
How recently did he sign up?
I don't know, but we just got his email tonight going, "Adriel, where's my patches?"
So,
Okay.
so he is doing what you should do. If you haven't received your patches, send us an email.
Please,
Angry email too.
angry
Swears in
email.
it. Yeah. Try to like really like projectile throw the spit as you're typing.
Yeah, and if you could put always email, yeah, or you could send snail mail and like put anthrax in the envelope. That'd also be
Include a return envelope in the anthrax envelope. I'll put a patch in there and I'll send it back.
Awesome. Yes. All right. If you'd like to support the show, check us out at patreon.com //Slamfire Radio. Sorry.
Backslashes don't work on the internet.
Sorry, my bad. Okay. We're leaving. We're done. Please join one or more of our national firearms associations, such as the CCFR or the CSSA, or anybody else you think will help. It's important to support those who support us. Get shooting some IPSC or some Steel Challenge. Take a Maple Seed Challenge. Shoot a 3-gun match. Bust some clays. Get out hunting. Don't use lead ammo because that's bad. Blast some long range.
Fake news.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just bad if you use it as a Jolly Rancher.
That is true. Do not suck on a bullet that has lead in it. It's not good. Blast some long-range F-class targets and shoot some service conditions. Yeah, exactly. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. We have a space over there where you can comment on the show and we'll interact with you. Like us on Facebook. We currently have 1,879 likes. That's a fair number of likes.
You know, there should be a point in the show where we say like a keyword that gives them a hint that all of this gibberish is coming, so they can just go, "Okay, that's it for the content. I can stop now."
I did say,
because I don't even like listening to this part.
Okay, well, people who know the show know to turn it off now. We have smart listeners.
We do, I guess, but sometimes then other stuff comes up.
Oh, I wish I had cut out the broadcast right when you said people who knew her smart listeners should know to stop the broadcast right now.
All right, cool. Good night. Would all you gentlemen like to say good night?
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.